Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Timeless Gamers Show, where our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. It's timeless, and the show is now streaming live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our old episodes, you know where to go. Check out our YouTube channel, Timeless Gamers Show, or going to our official website, timelessgamers.com. And of course, you can still check out our audio versions of our previous episodes by searching in Timeless Gaming Show in your favorite platforms where you get your usual podcast. And let's give some shout out to BitMap Books and Streamyard. If you are a person who likes to read books and video game history, check out bitmapbooks.com. And if you are also thinking of starting your own webinars, online classes, and your own podcast, Streamyard.com may be the right platform for you. Previously, on the Thomas Gamer Show, back on our season 15 finale, we discussed about more on some of the Nintendo DS games. It was our part 2, actually, from years back. So if you are curious on our selection, you know where to go, you know what to do. So for this episode, our 16th season premiere episode, we are talking about Mortal Kombat. You know what? It's so difficult not saying Mortal Kombat without saying it Mortal Kombat. Not the 1992 Mortal Kombat with Christopher Lambert, mind you. Although Sir Joel would prefer that one. We are talking about the third movie of the movie franchise. Okay, the Mortal Kombat released back in 2021. And I'm not sure if we're doing it because it's like what 4 years ago. I'm not sure if we're doing it non-spoiler or spoiler, but we'll deal with that later.
Yeah, I
Introducing the
think
panel for tonight.
as to interject, it's been a few years. It's
It's been
been out for
years.
a little while, so spoilers free. Spoilers allowed. Sorry. There you
Spoilers
go.
are allowed.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
but first of
introducing the
all,
panel for tonight.
Oh,
We got Sir
Raj, go
JDM.
ahead.
oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Sir
JDM, go
JDM,
ahead.
go.
Stadium gone, yeah.
From the Earth realm.
Representing the Earth realm.
1, 2, 3, go.
All right.
right.
Thank you for that, Sir JDM, and representing New Jersey realm, Sir Joel.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Joel of the Banyagan Native page. Very, very happy to be here in the Timeless Gamer Show again. Happy that you guys are watching us here in the Timeless Gamer Show. We've got a whole mess of a review lined up because of the fact that everybody's going to have their opinions, and I am hoping that you guys in the audience will give us your opinions as well, not just in the live but also in the chats later on. We welcome everybody's thoughts. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel, and of course, representing the outer realm, Sir Viraj.
The outer realm. It's me. It's United Kingdom here, London, center of the universe.
Also known as Britain.
As Britain. Yeah, it's no longer great anymore, is it? Oh, there we go. We've got a bit of controversy there. But yeah, Great Britain, Kingdom. So yeah, it should be an interesting show where we're going to be talking about a newer video game movie that has, I think Mortal Kombat has had a bit of a resurgence with the newer games that have come out, and now there's a Mortal Kombat collection coming out, a retro collection for the main systems now. So that's worth checking out. And brilliant piece of cross marketing, with the movie. And there's a sequel. This film must have been good. They're making a sequel for it. So it should be a fun-filled episode, listening to everybody's opinion on the panel on the movie and Mortal Kombat in general and where it's going forward. So let's do this. Let's bring it.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Viraj. And of course, Sir JDM, who do we got down there at the chat?
So in the chat, we have Jomenten of Jomarat. He says he still has a hangover from last night.
Man.
And we also have Miss Enslin Porter or Miss Eileen in the chat in Facebook. And we also, I see a new chatter here. Retro Vibe says hello.
All right, nice. So,
Welcome to the show.
Vibes is Retro Vibes is one of the poor unfortunate souls who like watching my streams. Hi, Retro
Oh,
Vibes.
bless him.
Thank you
Bless him.
so much for
Your
dropping.
soul is mine.
Nice to have a fan, isn't it? Nice to have a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it really.
Oh, bless him. Yeah.
You should have
Anyway.
said your soul is mine.
So first, shall we just do?
Buddy.
Are we gonna do like some new pickups that we got here?
Yes. Uh-huh.
We'll do show and tell.
We'll talk about some
We are
gaming
doing
news.
show and tell.
Show and tell. All right. In this
Show and tell.
okay. So in
Oh,
this,
that's
so in
accurate.
this segment, guys, we are going. We're just going to show and brag our latest acquisitions that we got for the last few days or so. Whether it's games, music, movies, books, comics, whatever for paraphernalia out there, geeky culture related. Starting off with Surfy Raj. What you got?
I got the Revenge of Shinobi. Well, no, tell it. It's the Shinobi: The Art of Vengeance, or Shinobi: Art of Vengeance. It's back to front. You can't see with the camera, but it's a Switch game. Well, it's also available on the main console, so you can get on PlayStation. I think there's an Xbox version. I could be wrong on that one, but you can definitely get on PlayStation. I wanted it physical, so I got it through limited run. Because if you are going to buy it, just be a warning, guys. Like when you buy it on Switch or whatever, or, I don't know if it's the same place. If you open it, there's not even a game card in there. You have to get a code, and it's digital. Mostly, this has been marketed right now as a digital only game. And I did some digging, and I found out it's probably because Sega are broke, so they couldn't afford. They had to go through a limited run to get their if you want it physical, you have to go through a limited run. Sadly, so. Is that but Steam is where it's been very popular. It's actually quite cheap if you want to buy it digitally as well, and it's really worth the value for money. I think it's like £15 or $15 or something, but have a look. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are obviously different versions of this you can get with more DLC, etc. This came with some DLC, but this is an interesting thing I learned about this, which is the brilliant thing about the Switch and Switch 2 is that it's multi-region. So even though this is an American copy, it'll work on my European Nintendo Switch. The problem is it has some DLC in there. There's a DLC code. It won't work. So what I'm going to have to do is I have to register an American Switch Online account just to get the DLC working with this game and switch it over. So it's a hassle. It's a faff, but it's doable. So there is that. I might be kicking myself because I can see in a year's time they're going to actually do a proper. I can see them doing an official release for this, like they did with Sonic Mania. Because that was also, if you remember, that was only digital only, and then they made Sonic Mania Plus, which is the physical. And then Streets Rage 4, that's another example. It was only purely a digital release, and then they finally do it as a physical. So maybe I bit too early. This is part of a special edition, so I'm getting all the soundtrack CD and whatever sent to me in March, because Limited Run had to sort of say, look, we'll send you the game now. All the special edition box will be out in March, so you'll get the other half of that then. Like, oh, great. That's the down. Obviously, those of us who buy from limited run games, we know we have to wait a long time for these things to happen. They've gotten better over the years, to be fair. When I got Streets Rage 4, it took them a year to send that out. How about that, right? When I pre-ordered that. This isn't taking that long, so it's not too bad. But yeah, a good 2D side-scroller action game in the same sort of art style as the original Shinobi games on Genesis Mega Drive. Adds a Metroidvania element to it so far. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely worth checking out, guys. So that's my new pickup, and I'll be enjoying that for the next couple of months. So there we go. What about you guys? Any pickups on your side, gents?
All right, thank you for that, Sir
Mr.
Brad. Sir
Johnson.
Joe will have you go.
Okay, so recently I've been hitting my local retro game store. It's called Gans Media Retro Games here in Hopatcom, and they've been holding a lot of sales recently. The most recent one had 15% off of anything inside the store. It doesn't matter if it's a console, it doesn't matter if it's a video game, it doesn't matter if it's an accessory. It's 15% off everything, and it was a very good sale and a very good haul. Of course, you guys know me. I love my my simulation, fishing, driving games. So that time I hit Gans Media, and I went for, well, quite a few. Let's start with the fishing. There's Top Angler for PS2. Real Bass Fishing. Of course, you guys know me. I love my fishing games, and Bass Strike for PS2. So these ones, of course, they're standard fishing games for the PlayStation 2. Nothing too special. Each one has unique mechanics to it, but eventually I will have to get down to doing video game reviews of the fishing games from Fishing Derby on the Atari 2600 all the way to Bassmaster 2022. And I went for a few trucking games. This one is King of Route 66. There's Big Mother Truckers, which is the prequel to it, and 18 Wheeler, American Pro Trucker. So trucking games, surprisingly, they're a lot of fun if they're not hardcore sim type games like American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator. Euro Truck Simulator. If you play a trucking game with a little bit of arcadey element to it, where you're not really factoring too much of the weight and too much of the drag to it, it's surprisingly fun. So yeah, these guys are. I got them for generally about 10.99 each, 10.99 each, less 15%. That's about 8.50. So good deal, good bargains from Gans Media Retro Games. Check out your Retro Vibes says, cool, I like trucking games. We're gonna have to talk about that sometime soon, Retro Vibes. I'm very, very happy that you are that you seem to enjoy my selection of pickups. I would say check out your local retro game shops, find those relatively unknown games. Who knows? You might actually enjoy them. Remember that somebody somewhere in the past put effort into making this. No matter how obscure, no matter how small of a person it might be, he put in effort on that, and you're gonna have to appreciate it. If you don't, then that's perfectly fine. But don't discount somebody's efforts in the obscure game. Like JDM and I, we are connoisseurs of the obscure. All right, back to you, Joe.
Thank you for that, Sir Joel. How about you, Sir JDM? Digital count.
I guess the only thing that I bought from the past 2-3 weeks was Metal Gear Solid Delta
Which is the
for
remake
Steam.
to
Yeah, it's the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and to those who are saying that it's a remake, it's just a remaster. Um, it's made with Unreal Engine 5. People are expecting they should have used the Fox engine that Hideo Kojima used for Metal Gear Solid 5, but no. Um, that's quite outdated actually. The Fox engine, so they um, just to just to um, play it safe, they just use the much newer and highly used Unreal Engine 5 for the game. And they don't have the patent for Fox Engine, uh, I guess, because Kojima brought it to his own studio. So that's it. And I bought a Walkman, by the way. I forgot.
Oh, that's so
Sony
cool, man.
Walkmans are cool.
That's so
Walkmans
cool.
are cool.
Sony
Yeah.
Walkman?
Enjoy
Or
it.
just a generic Walkman?
It's Sanyo. It
Sanyo.
has a
Sanyo's good.
Okay.
Sanyo's a good brand.
has a
Yeah.
it has
I think
The
like
speaker.
a speaker, but
Oh,
the
God.
wires
Oh.
are they're so thin, so I have
Yeah.
to look for a way to solder it. So I might be
Right.
like
It's
finding
interesting how you call it a Walkman, but because that's a Sony patent, isn't it? Because Sony invented
Yeah,
that was their brand.
Yeah.
Everyone calls it a Walkman now.
I mean, how else would we call it? Like what? Like a portable radio?
No, that's the thing, Viraj. In the
cassette
Philippines,
player.
A portable tape?
in the
Portable
Philippines,
cassette
the
Cassette
brand is
player.
a generic thing. If you look for in the Philippines, if you mention, you don't say toothpaste, you say Colgate. You look for Colgate, and
Yeah.
any
Right.
kind of
Or you don't
toothpaste.
say vacuum cleaner, you say Hoover.
Exactly.
That kind of
That's
thing.
it.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
precisely. Yeah. There you go. You don't look for a photocopier. You look for a Xerox.
Xerox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were the brands that invented these things, and Sony really did really well with the Walkman, and that's their history. That Sony actually comes from Sonos, which is Latin for sound. And Sony, they're seen as a sound company. So there you go.
learn something new every day. I'm gonna have to remember that one. There you go.
There we go. So anyway, great, wonderful new pickups. Are we gonna do a bit of gaming news? There was that Nintendo Direct. But we could do a whole episode on that, couldn't we? But,
Yeah, we'll save that for next time. But right
next time.
now, I
We'll
think
do
it's
more
time.
combat, more combat.
Yeah.
Right. So, obviously, for those of you, those of you in the comment sections are obviously familiar and well versed on this franchise. It was an arcade classic by Midway in the early 90s that used digitized graphics, and that was its sort of gimmick, shall we say, or its selling point to make it look realistic. And it was very well. The main thing was the gore and the what's the word? It was very controversial as a video game franchise because it's one of the reasons why we had age rating bringing into video games back then. And it's very popular, not just in the arcades. There were home console ports on the Sega and Nintendo platforms at the time, and there's all that, and that's why there's a new game coming out on that. But obviously, as time has gone on, the franchise has jumped leaps and bounds, and we're in a modern arena where they're still relevant and they're still very popular. And we had the films in the 90s as well. Let's not forget we had Mortal Kombat, the first one, I think it was in 95. And then the sequel, Annihilation, came out in 97. Now, I think the first film, people liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. But when I go back to it, I just sort of, my eyes glaze over now because of how dated it is. And because it was a format for the 90s. And I don't think it's aged very well. And the sequel was just a flop. I think we can all agree on that one. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people can enjoy it in the same way they can enjoy Batman and Robin. I don't know. It was maybe the time of then, but it is what it is. But when we look at the 2021 film, like I watched it not in the cinemas. My friend got me a copy, shall we say, and I watched it that way. And it had no business being as good as it was. That's what I will say, because I had low expectations. Because we all know with video game movies, you're not going to get that fulfilling 10 out of 10, really, are you? It's not going to tick all the boxes. And if you look at the Mortal Kombat mythologies and the histories and the depth of it and the story, it's quite intricate if you actually look at the video game lore and the story. So how can they fit that in one movie, or even if it's like the first two films even if it's the first two games of the story? So I went into this thinking, where are they going with this? And first of all, you're with the scene with Sub-Zero and Scorpion and the history behind those two clans, right? I forget what they are because I haven't seen the film in a while, but I remember that very vividly. And I thought, wow, okay, this is shot quite well. Okay, this is acted quite well. Okay, there's a bit of depth to this story. Okay, it's a story about betrayal and vengeance or whatever. Okay, there's a bit of depth here. And then the story gets bigger and bigger, and then all the other characters are involved. The Mortal Kombat tournament, and then it gets going on, and then it gets deeper and deeper. I was actually really surprised at the depth of this. I think and it's not just the depth; it's the difference between, say, a film made in this century, and if you look at something in '95, I think the storytelling had improved a lot. I think that the costume design had improved a lot. I think in terms of special effects, definitely improved a lot. If you look at some of the older Mortal Kombat films and the special effects are like, oh, that's really dated now. So I actually really liked this film for what it was worth. It had a very low budget. It was a B movie at 55 million. It grossed about 75 or something like that, I remember reading. So, it wasn't like a big, 84 million. I just double check now. So it wasn't like a big hit, to be honest, but it was successful enough, and I think it must have made some more money on the home video and streaming side of things rather than when it was out in the cinema. I think that must have made them think, okay, we're going to do a sequel with Carl Urban in it. So all in all, I think
I would say the box office kind of took a hit because 2021 this was like the tailgate of the pandemic at the time when this was released. So not a lot of cinema and theater houses were accepting mass audiences getting inside theater houses. So I think that might have affected the box office revenue. I can't think of anything else aside from number one, post COVID, and then number two, R rating, definitely, and number three, this is a fan service movie for the fans, for the gamers. Okay, not much for the casuals. Anyway, Back to you, Sir Vash. Go.
I think going back on just to touch on your point about the fans, I think it definitely was one for the fans because they really did, like, the actors and the storytelling for each character felt more genuine to the video game's portrayal. So it was more true to the video game lore than anything we'd seen previously. Okay. The guy who played Liu Kang, and his story arc, I thought that was really well done. I thought Sonya Blade, brilliant, in the film. Very well done. Kano was a menace in this film. Okay. He's the reason I think I enjoyed watching the film, thinking, what's this guy's deal? What's his beef? So I thought that was phenomenal. And obviously you got the end with Shang Tsung, he was a menace in this film too. Yeah, so you have like some really good villains in this film. I think what makes films great are the villain, like films like this great, are who plays the villain. Who's playing this villain. I think, with regret, I missed out on the Street Fighter episode and, mentioned how Raul Julia was really interesting as M. Bison. And even though he wasn't sort of what I'd imagined M. Bison, you'd invite him to be, and he made it his own. He made it his own sort of performance, which is really interesting. And I think it's the same with the guy who played Kano especially, made it his own performance. And obviously he had the Aussie accent and all that. So it's more true to the lore. So that's really interesting. And the way it ended wasn't like, okay, there's definitely going to be a sequel to this. They kept it open-ended, of course. And I think films suffer a lot of fatigue where, like, why can't they just tell a whole story? Why do they have to leave it open for a sequel? Even though it is kind of open, they made it a film on its own. It can stand on its own 2 feet. I think a lot of films lose track of being the film and its identity because it's like half a movie because they're expecting it to be a cliffhanger and go on the same one. I think the narrative here had a definitive start and a finish. But yeah, in terms of the fighting and choreography in this film, it makes the other two look amateur. Like, the other two look amateur compared to this. Like, this is like really, really well done. I think films like John Wick really have set the standard for action and choreography when you're talking like proper fighting and martial arts when it comes to these films. And I think that was really well done. So it definitely keeps you engaged as a viewer. You're not getting bored or whatever, or thinking, oh, what is this like? What are they really fighting? And it's not like choppy editing, which you see in the first two films. There's a lot of that. And I'm thinking, oh, great. And that's what makes, in my opinion, the first two films not as watchable as this. So in my honest view, I think this is definitely a film for those of you who have not seen it. I think those in the comment section have said certain things that may not have seen. I think it's definitely a video game movie worth seeing, and you may enjoy it. I mean, if I'm going to say the first Mortal Kombat movies maybe a 6 out of 10, and the second is a 5 or a 4 if I'm being generous, I'd say this thing, obviously, it's not connected to those two films. Those two are direct sequels to each other. So that is its own sort of 90s bubble. This is like a reinvention of Mortal Kombat. I'd say, this film is probably 7.5 out of 10 for what it is. Because, I think what could they could have done to improve it. I'm not too sure it's just how do I explain? How could they have improved this film? Probably just better storytelling and a bit more depth, but you're not going to get that with a film like this. Personally, it is what it is. It's more, you can't have really good storytelling in a martial arts environment. I've noticed that in a lot of films. It's like you go there for the spectacle of seeing the fatalities. That's what you're looking for in the Mortal Kombat film. Oh, what is it going to look like with live action actors and things like that? Oh, how is this going to play out? How is the story going to play out here? Who's going to fight who? Because it's a versus fighting game, for crying out loud. Like, how can they really stretch it? Even though Mortal Kombat has a lot of lore and histories and all that around it, where are they going to focus? And it's very hard, I think, as a filmmaker to get that balance right. That's why like 7.5. I think that's as good as you're going to get with Mortal Kombat films, and you shouldn't be like expecting like highbrow storytelling. The problem is I've been spoiled by so much of it. But is it a bit of popcorn fluff? Is it a bit of fun? Is it something that you can enjoy with a friend? Yes. I think it serves that purpose well. And I think for those who are fans of fighting games or Mortal Kombat, you'll enjoy it for what it is. And I think those who are a fan of video game movies or just generally like fun films, even if you're not into Mortal Kombat, I think you'd enjoy this film anyway. I think it stands on its own 2 feet. But I think the previous two films in the 90s, not so much. I think this can stand on its own quite well, and anyone can just enjoy it. So that's my thoughts on Mortal Kombat. What I'm interested is, what are your thoughts, gentlemen, in the panel, and what you thought of the film? So I'm going to pick on Sir Joel because I know you might have something to say about this.
All right. Well, we're generally in agreement, Viraj, except we
Mm.
diverge in a couple of things. I'm a huge fan of the 1995 film. The original 1995 Mortal Kombat film was an excellent video game film that was made for video gamers.
Mm.
They knew what their audience was back in 1995, and they concentrated solely on that audience for people who were playing the game, people who wanted to see the characters and see the moves on the cinema screen. The makers of the 1995 film really poured it all out for them. It's not accessible to the common man walking in off of the streets and saying, I want to watch a film this afternoon. I've got some free time. What's there? It's not really something for him. And that's perfectly fine. Back in 1995, it wasn't made for them. It's the same mantra that we have here nowadays. What's not made for you? But works on the inverse side. People nowadays make films not for the core audience, but to try to bring in people who are walking in off of the streets. That's the inverse side nowadays. This film is kind of like that. The 2021 Mortal Kombat film has enough eggs in it to please video gamers who have been with the franchise for the longest time. I've seen a few. I've seen a few of the Easter eggs. I've seen the moves. I've seen the settings. I've seen the costumes. And yeah, there is enough of the in there to say for the video gamer who came in to say, yeah, I enjoyed it. And me personally, as a casual video gamer, as a casual Mortal Kombat player who played the games a little bit when it first came out, I enjoyed the spectacle of it. I saw enough of the video game in there for me to say, yeah, that is Mortal Kombat. I saw the moves, I saw the characters, I saw the setting. But there wasn't enough of it for me to say this is a video game movie made for me. For if I were a common man walking in off of the streets, walking in, I would view it as an action movie. I have no idea who these people are. I have no idea why they're fighting. Sure, there's exposition as to why there's Earth realm being threatened by a different realm, and
Mm.
eventually trying to become subjugated. But the emotional investment of it will be falling most towards the main character, who is Cole, who I know of as Sensei Wolf in Cobra Kai. I knew him there most
Mm.
as Sensei Wolf. He's a great guy. He's a great actor. He plays a good hero. He plays a great villain.
Mm.
Honestly, he did both roles justice. And in this one, in Mortal Kombat the movie, he did it well that you could feel him as a husband and as a father doing everything he can to protect the things that he loved. And that will appeal to the regular common man. That is a good thing. I would say about the only gripe that I have is that it feels very much like an introductory film. It does not pander to one side or the other too much so that it becomes lukewarm for me. It definitely feels like a B movie. I hate the costume that they gave Cole at the very end. What is that?
Mm.
It's like a half Dracula
Yeah.
from film. I forgot who played Dracula. Gary Oldman,
Got it.
half design of
Bram
Dracula.
Stoker's
Gary
Dracula.
Oldman.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bram
Very
Stoker's
frilly.
Dracula. Yeah, exactly. So that looks cheap as f. And
Yeah.
honestly, whoever did the costume design on that needs to be reevaluated. And I am sorely disappointed by the fact that Cole didn't even get a cool name at the very end. He's
Mm.
not really in the roster of
No.
famous Mortal Kombat characters. He's
Mm.
a blank slate. He's a stand-in for
Mm.
the audience to identify with. He was made
Mm.
for that. He was made for that role. The fact
Yeah.
that the audience was supposed to project themselves to him, and yeah, sure, I understand the psychology of it, but as a video gamer, expecting a video game film, no, it doesn't work for me. And Tonfas, honestly, about an 80% defensive weapon in a Mortal Kombat fighting tournament. Tonfas, really, honestly, couldn't
Mm.
have given him something cooler or much more offensive.
Mm.
No. So
Mm.
overall, as a movie, it is entertaining. I would agree with Raj. This is 7.5 going into an 8.
Oh,
It's
you go
fun.
into an 8, you would?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd go into an 8.
you're nice.
Yeah,
I was expecting less from
you,
you.
you know
You're
me.
more critical when it comes
No,
to
no, no,
certain
no,
things like
no.
this.
I
I'm
mean,
shocked.
the Mortal Kombat from 1995, I would give a 9.5 going into 10.
Wow.
This
Oh,
one,
okay.
yeah,
What?
this one,
What?
I'm giving a 7.5 going to an 8 because of the fact that it is lukewarm. It doesn't hew too much into one side versus the other. And uh, I would say the disappointments abound. It's obviously a prequel to everything else that comes after.
Mm.
Sure, it ties up the story neatly at the very end, open for a sequel, but it still feels like a Costco sampler. You go into a Costco, you try the samples, you enjoy it. It's nice and tasty, but you don't get a full meal out of it. So it just feels like it's not all there, and you don't get the full epic spectacle of what Mortal Kombat itself. Like you said, Viraj, it's got deep lore, and I applaud them for trying to fit in the lore into a 2-hour movie, but it's an impossible task, honestly. So yeah, 7.5 going into an 8. That's my rating of Mortal Kombat 2021.
Well, it's really interesting because the original Mortal Kombat movie, if you look on IMDb, is 5.8 out of 10, and this
Oh,
one is 6.1 out
yeah.
of 10.
Let me another thing. The practical effects of Goro, Prince Goro in the
Mm,
1995 film were superior, very superior to
okay,
the CGI monster that Goro is here in
that's fair
2021.
enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
That's
the
fair enough.
effort that was put
Okay.
into Goro in the practical effects there shine through to me. That says, dude, they really went all out in terms of effort for for Goro. You can feel that heart in Mortal Kombat 1995. This one,
Mm,
yeah, that's basically what pushes it to me.
yeah. Okay, I understand that.
Mhm.
What I'll say is, okay, you in the original 95 film, you had a bit of star power, didn't you? You had Christopher Lambert.
Oh
You
yeah,
had,
Christopher Lambert too.
Yes.
yeah, you had who's the guy who plays Shang
Oh, I
Tsung?
absolutely love the commercial for Christopher Lambert did for the recent Mortal Kombat game. This
Oh,
guy is playing
I've not seen
a
it.
Mortal Kombat game, and
Hmm.
somebody's ripping him apart as Raiden, and
Mm,
he says to the guy playing Raiden, "You're
yeah,
really good at this." And the
yeah.
camera pans. It's Christopher Lambert. He says, "I have some experience on this." It was
Ah,
it was a
yeah.
great commercial. I
He's,
loved it.
I mean, he does play a very weird Raiden in the film with his
Mm,
little farty voice that he has, but
yeah.
he is what he is.
Yeah.
Then you also had the lady who played Sonya Blade. I can't remember the actress's name, but she'd been in a few films
Mhm,
before in the
mhm.
first film. So you had and the guy who played Shang Tsung I mentioned earlier. He's been
Oh
in a few
yeah,
films as well.
Carrie.
Gary
Oh,
Haskin.
yeah, yeah.
So you
He's
have some
great.
star power with this. What I
Oh,
liked about
and he
this,
still shows up in the video games too. Carrie.
yeah. So what I liked about this film is I think, and I think you'll all agree with me with this, which is when you see a lot of characters or actors that have played other roles, they
Mhm.
kind of get typecast into the
Yeah.
sort of roles that they've been in.
Mhm.
Whereas this film, this new Mortal Kombat, well, there isn't anyone that's had like an out there role. I think that's why they could keep the budget low because these actors aren't well known, so they don't have to pay them a lot of money. But I still thought they did a good job.
Ray Q said it best. There you go on the chats. Johnny Cage punching Goro's balls in the 90s movie makes it more superior. Completely agreed.
Well,
Completely agreed, Ray Q.
this is
100%.
well,
Yes.
this is it. I think if you look at the '90s films, like a lot of them,
Mm,
there's a level of humor and campness to it. This is a much more serious film,
mhm.
and I think Mortal Kombat is. I think you can get if you look at Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. I always see is like I identify Mortal Kombat as a much more serious, more edgier
Mhm.
versus fighting game. You've got fatalities, you've got blood and gore in there. There's no room
Mhm.
for humor in that. You've got life and death in this thing.
Although I do
In
agree
Street
with you, Viraj.
Fighter, it's like
Yeah. Although I do agree with you, Viraj, on what's his name, Kano being a
oh yeah,
medic,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he brought the humor too. I like the humor that he
Yeah.
brought.
Yeah. So
Mm,
there's that as well.
mhm,
So I'm glad that you like the film. I'm a bit
mhm,
miffed that you prefer the first film,
mhm.
but I can understand But by that much, you give it a 9 out of 10 the first film,
yeah.
and this one you give like maybe a 7.
No,
At least you give it a
because
7
of the
or
fact
8.
because of
There's
the
not
fact
much
that
in it, to be honest.
I'm judging it as a video game guy going in for
Okay.
a video game movie. That's the point that I'm judging it from.
Okay.
2021 being a video game movie is only makes it just enough for it to be a video game movie for
Yes.
me to accept it as a video game movie.
But there's
Unlike
more
something
story in
like,
it.
shall we say, Max Payne.
Okay.
Unlike the Max
Mm.
Payne movie. Now that was so far off from the
Yeah.
video game that I can't really honestly say that it's a
Yeah.
Max Payne game.
I agree.
It's a Max Payne movie. It's more like a detective noir film
Noir,
that
yes, a
kind
noir
of
film,
slapped
yeah.
on the name Max Payne.
Yeah.
So
I
as a
agree.
video gamer, I would rate that very low. But
Yeah.
this one, the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie, I'm approaching it as a video gamer
Mm.
looking for a video game movie. And that's why I can only give it a 7.5 or 8
Okay.
out of 10.
I
because-
can't. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna sell you
Mhm.
something you're not buying. You
Yeah.
made your decision. I know you're a man who's got
Mm.
conviction. This is what I believe. This is it, Viraj.
Although no,
Mm.
I can honestly say it's a good remake of the 1995 film. It's a good start to a full-on
reset
remake of, yes,
to the
shall we say?
franchise.
Yeah.
We call it a reset for what it is. I
Correct.
think
Mhm.
one thing I like about this, so it's interesting we compare the first film and this one. We don't talk about Annihilation. I think if we talk
No.
about,
It doesn't
if we
exist.
talk about,
Kind of like Highlander 2. Highlander 2 doesn't exist.
yeah, we don't talk about the other. Highlander's
Yeah.
the only one. There's only one. And that's the first
Yes,
film.
exactly. Mhm.
But I think if we look at the first film, I think in terms of the fun aspect of it and the more sort of versus at battles and all that stuff, it's more there and it's more sort of truish to the game in that regard. But I think in terms of the storytelling of the new film that's come out, I think that's a lot more rich, and I think it's got a lot more substance to it than for me. I'm looking for a good story, and even if you don't even watch what I said earlier, I'll still mirror that. I think even if you don't even care about Mortal Kombat as a video game series, I think even if you just come at this not even knowing anything about Mortal Kombat, you can still enjoy this film because it has a story to it, you know, and it tells you like what this character is and what their background is. You can sort of see the storytelling as well. You see how like Raiden's going out there to get all these sort of people to defend Earthrealm and all that. So that's still there. I enjoyed both films. I think we can all say that we enjoyed both films. We still we watch it, but for me the story matters more, and that's why I'd give it a slightly higher rating than the first film. That's just my thoughts. So I can agree with you for most of this, actually, Sir Joel, but disagree on that little aspect. But that's understandable.
Yeah.
Very, very good point, Sir Joel. Thank you very much for this. So JDM, what are your thoughts on this film? Because you've picked this up recently, so I just want to know what you have to say.
So I saw this movie back in 2021 when it first came out. I will say that I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. And I saw the first movie. I saw the 1995 movie. I only saw it once, and I didn't really get interested with Mortal Kombat as much as Street Fighter and Tekken. So, and I didn't back then. I didn't really know that there's like a lot of story happening in in Mortal Kombat. I didn't know that there was an actual story, and you know how it's not just Mortal Kombat. It's almost all of the fighting games. In Street Fighter, I didn't know that there's like a story because when we first played the video game, it's just a fighting game. So you compete with other players and other characters.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that there's a backstory. Same with Tekken, but in Tekken they already have the like the opening movie,
Yeah.
the those FMVs that they call back then, and they
Okay.
have their own introduction to each character. So in storytelling, that's better for the video game. So for me, the 2021 movie was all right. It's like what Ninong Joel mentioned earlier, that it's a movie for um casual fans, uh, for the common people, because Mortal Kombat has been like what, 30, is it 30 years now?
Yes, it's going to be. I
And
think that the anniversary is this year or something. 35 years or something. They're doing an anniversary collector's game set
like,
with all the retro games coming out soon. So yes, I think it's his anniversary year this year. But yes, an over 30-year-old franchise. It's been around for years. It's been like how many games canonically? 12,
right.
13, 14. How much we were on if you count the Game Boy games as well. There's been so many of these. But let's say 20 games in the franchise. But if we're talking about like proper console staples, I think they stopped at Mortal Kombat 11. They started at Mortal Kombat 1 again. So they've sort of, even them, they've reset the franchise.
Yeah.
But
So I think
so going back to you, Sir JDM. So you're aware of the Mortal Kombat games and whatever, but you weren't aware of the story. What do you
like,
think of the story of the film? That's really what I want to get to in this. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole idea of it, and what did you think the film executed really well?
I think for me this movie is like, because Mortal Kombat has been, yeah, it's been like long when we knew Mortal Kombat. Then I just found out when I was looking at the backstory, they have the original timeline, then they have the alternate timeline right now, which is the
Right now
series
in the
that's
games, yeah.
ongoing right now. I
Mm.
think they made this movie for those fans who are like me, that are not really who didn't really know what was happening
So yeah,
between those games. And it's like, for me, I think they're going for the newer timeline, the much recent one,
yeah.
the time where they made like a reboot, soft reboot or something like that. So for me it's like, um uh it's like a reset for me as well,
Mm.
to remind me that these characters, although they still have Sonya Blade, they still have Jax, all the other characters, um,
Mm.
it's like an reintroduction for me with the Mortal Kombat uh, franchise. And I'm glad that most of the original characters from the original game was still in there. So
Yeah.
I love um the fight scenes,
Okay.
um
Yeah.
and what uh, I think the casting is what I was concerned about, because I didn't know half of the actors who played those roles. I recognize Jax. He's from, I I was looking for the actor who, because when I saw him, he looks familiar. So at first I thought he was the actor from, I don't know if you have seen the spin-off of Buffy, Angel.
Yeah.
I thought he was Gunn from
Oh.
Angel, but it turns out that he was he was that guy from Supergirl.
Oh yeah. The guy who played Jimmy Olsen.
James Olsen,
Jimmy
Jimmy
Olsen.
Olsen, yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
right.
Yeah, because
The
they quick
Guardian,
cast the black actor to play Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. So
and
it's interesting how with you it's a case that it's very interesting because I think it's nice to have new actors, new fresh faces, because I think that you can sort of get with the characters. With you look for familiar actors because you like
yeah,
that, and that's what you like. That's really interesting because you want to see how they get on. So very interesting.
and
I
they
mean, did you enjoy the film? That's what I'm going to get to really because you've gone off
yeah,
on a bit of a tangent here about the actors and all that. But did you enjoy the
yeah,
film? Did you follow the story? And
yeah,
did
I
you enjoy the
enjoyed the
film?
film.
Okay.
It's a fresh, like, it's a fresh start for me seeing
Mm,
I know some of the lore
mm,
of the original movie, and
mm.
so it's good to see there's improvement in the fighting scene. So what there's martial
Yeah.
arts. It's refined because of the new standard we have in Hollywood movies in regards to fighting. Some yeah, it's the CGI. It's um yeah, it's refined. You can't see the um I think back in the day they used animatronic if I'm not really
They use different types of effects, didn't they?
yeah.
Back then, they had like some sort of with Goro, it was like some sort of clay motion, stop motion thing. I can't
Yeah,
remember
right.
exactly, but the thing is that was more realistic as a special effect, and I think that's what Sir Joel mentioned when he was talking about how the Goro effect. I like the more the serial sort of realistic aspect towards the CGI, because I think the problem you can get with CGI is, oh, this looks just like a video game. The irony is it's based on a video game franchise, but sometimes it just looks too plasticky. It doesn't look real enough, and you can sort of see, okay, it's not real. I think some special effects can, like fire effects in this film, were done really well. So I think, special effects can be a double-edged sword when it comes to it. CGI can be really well executed in some areas, and I think it definitely is a pro over a con. But it's always nice to see more practical effects. But then this film did have a $55 million budget. So, I mean, those practical effects might have costed more, and CGI is a lot easier to do, I think. And it's cheaper to do, I think.
Yeah.
So,
The fight with Reptile, it was an actual reptile, and when Kano like did the fatality with the heart and all, it's like a reptile dysfunction.
The reptile dysfunction. Is that what you call it?
I would never have expected JDM to make that joke, especially on air. Honestly,
That was funny.
that was a good one, and it was so off color.
How long were you waiting to say that?
Just holding it in. That's why I was struggling in it. It's like, where do I plant this reptile?
He was thinking about it the whole week.
I know that. I salute you, JDM. I never would have expected that from you. But it's
you
a good
even
one.
made Retro Vibes laugh. Oh,
Man.
all right,
So-
there you go.
So yeah, that
So
was
rating
interesting.
for me as a like a new fan, it's going to be a 7.5 as well, or 8.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, that's some interesting points you've raised there, Sir JDM. Right. So, all right. So we've got general consensus. Us three is good. I'm wondering what Sir Joe is going to say on this. I'm really interested to see what he's got to say, because he always has some sort of perverse thing he's going to throw into this, and I'm going to try and brace myself, because he does say some.
No, I
outrageous
think
things.
JDM helped us hit that quota right now.
Yeah. With that innuendo.
All right, go for a job.
Yeah, so Joe can't top this.
No. I'll try to be wholesome. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Like Sir JDM, I'm not really much of a Mortal Kombat fan, but I'm aware of the game when it was first released back in the early '90s, and I appreciate its contributions to the gaming culture. Coming in with Mortal Kombat, the first movie back in the early '90s, like I already knew all of the characters that they were trying to portray, and in my mind, as a child watching said movie, like I said to myself, okay, these are these are the characters from Mortal Kombat, like Sir Joel mentioned, right? And coming into this movie, 2021, which is a soft reboot or a hard reboot of of the first one. So, and as much as I remembered vividly the first one comparing to this one, I would say this is one of those movies that reminds me that I'm a grown ass man. In as much as I'm gonna side a little bit more with Sir Joel here, because in the first movie, you felt the gravitas of the situation, why they have to fight. Here, not so much. Why? Because in the first, because like we mentioned earlier, it all depends on how well the main antagonist carries the the driving force on why these things are happening in the first place. Because in the first movie, back in the 90s, uh, the movie was able to portray the overall plot of the said tournament, Mortal Kombat tournament, right? And here, they didn't really do that as much because they only explained the uh, the main objective of the tournament through exposition dialogue. In the first movie, they really showed you the consequences of not winning the tournament, right?
Mm.
Oh, the elder gods got drunk one time, and they said, "You know what? Your best champions against our best champions. All right, we'll settle. Oh, we'll do a bet. 10 straight tournament victories, then we can invade your realm. Okay, winner takes all. You know what I mean? Uh, and and the Shang Tsung of the first movie,
Mm.
he's more menacing compared to this one. Shang
Okay.
Tsung in this one, soft.
But he did overact a bit in the first film, to be fair.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There
I
was a bit
mean,
of campiness there with the overacting.
no. I mean,
But we love
there's
overacting
certain.
and campiness.
I mean, there's certain campiness in it, but you, uh, how can I put this politely? I don't feel the threat in as much as Shang Tsung was portrayed in the first movie compared to here. Here, it was a little bit mild mannered. I mean, there are certain antagonists or movie villains that you can still portray your villainy, or
Okay, so
you can pretty much tell how
he's not that classic moustache
like they
twirling
are a
villain.
villain based on how they project themselves, or deliver deliver their dialogue. Here, not as much. I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
I'm just seeing a dude with
well,
a
Ken
puffball
Hanna
hair.
plays him. I mean, if you remember the actor, if you've all seen The Dark Knight, do you remember the guy who goes, "I'm very good at calculation"? You know, the Joker's look. That's the same actor. It's him. He's very
Yeah.
reserved as an actor. If you look at,
I know.
he's very good at what he does, but he plays it in a much
Actually,
more
I
reserved.
didn't
way.
realize that it was him because
Yeah.
at first I thought this was Tony Leung,
No.
the guy from Shang-Chi's father in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was him, and then I thought,
No,
oh no, it's not
that's where
Tony
you know
Leung. It's
Tony
somebody,
Leung
somebody
from?
else.
You
The fact
know,
that
from the Dark
you're-
Knight.
the fact that
you don't know him
you're
from classic kung fu movies and everything. You just know
the
him
fact that
from
you're of
Shang-Chi. Oh my
Polynesian descent
goodness.
and you confuse one actor with another that's of your same people. What are you
That's
trying to
racist.
say, man?
All right,
I
they don't look
I want
alike.
to know where's this self-racism coming from? What's going on?
All right.
They don't all look the same. If that's what
Oh
you're trying to go with.
no.
No,
Very
because
dark.
what threw me off was the hair. That's why.
I agree with that.
and,
Yeah, there's that. Yeah,
and he
that's
get a little bit of, and he's a bit more skinnier
He's thin.
in the Dark Knight compared to here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, okay. At least in the first one, we actually saw a tournament. Here, no, because looking back, because I was thinking
Yeah.
about it while you guys are talking. Did we actually went to the actual official tournament? Because what Shang-Chi's
narrative
army,
is
the overall army, started ambushing these guys, right? So this is like what let's just say days before the official tournament,
Yeah.
and then things got so bad that that the Earth Realm Warriors like, you know what, screw this. It's not a tournament yet. Yeah, let's just take them out. And I'm like, so where's the actual tournament here? So technically speaking, we don't have a tournament in this Mortal Kombat said tournament.
Yes.
No.
Not really. No.
Not
It's
really.
just skirmish.
So,
They just had some few
well,
skirmishes. That's
yeah.
it, basically.
And then, but the way they were talking, by the end of the movie, they said they're thinking like they won. They won. No, you didn't want anything. If anything,
Well,
you just
well, Shang Tsung was
you bent the
bad.
rules just as much as these guys.
Yeah, I think look, there's got to, obviously there's going to be a sequel, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, because obviously they went looking for other fighters. Obviously, what's his name? Carl Urban, who's going to play Johnny Cage in the next one. They've gone looking for him. So obviously they've got some star power to this film. Not to say that the original didn't have star power. If you're from the sort of the Japans, shall we say, the guy who plays Scorpion, Hiroki Sanada. He's basically, you've seen him before in, like, if you watch Shogun, he's the main man in Shogun. He's also been in like the Wolverine, and also Tadanobu Asano, who plays Raiden. He's also in Shogun. So these are like sort of, even though I say they're not like star powers here in the
Oh my God!
in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know these guys. You've seen them now, haven't you? So
No. We mentioned Scorpion here. That the actor playing Scorpion. I have something to say about that.
yeah, okay, fair enough. But I think with this film, I mean, you make a very interesting point about how it wasn't like a tournament. There wasn't like a proper versus sort of thing. But I'm thinking, I think, can you transition a versus fighter to be like a tournament style? Like even Street Fighter wasn't a tournament. If you look,
It did. The first movie did.
Yeah, but it wasn't like. I don't even look at them as.
Now it's graphic.
It's the story you follow, isn't it? I mean, how do you organically put in like a tournament? It's not. Is it like, even though in the video game it works, would it really work in the storytelling narrative? Oh, we're going to go to some off-world tournament. Like, is that? I mean, it just seems a little bit contrived, don't you think? Wouldn't it be better if there's a story that leads to them having a beef? Like that it filters into. And I think even if you play the new Mortal Kombat games, it's kind of like that. Even though there's a versus fighter, there's a story you follow with Mortal Kombat 11, even the new Mortal Kombat 1, you know, as to what happens. Like in the new Mortal Kombat 1, like, or whatever, or is it 11? I can't remember. But you see like Shang Tsung and his story develop, because he was just a beggar, man. He was a nobody, you know, and he stole powers to get to where he's at. So you sort of see the progression of characters. And I think that narrative is really good. I mean, I don't like the idea of, I think with the first film, if you're familiar with the characters already from the video games, then it's great. But if you just go into a film to see this, you're like, what's this guy's story? You know, if you've never played Mortal Kombat before, you don't know, really. And I think with this new film, it tells you that other guy's story, where he came from. Like, you realize why Scorpion was a bitter man in this film. Like, you know what that the Sub-Zero guy did with his family and all that stuff, or with his clan or whatever. So you understand, like, it's a story of revenge on his side of things. You know, so I get that. I totally get the whole, like, why it has to be told this way. It has to have, every character needs to have some substance and a story that it molds into before the beef begins. Whereas I think with that first film, like, you sort of expected to know what the character's background is. There's not much storytelling involved, apart from Raiden coming down there with his farty voice saying, "Hey, you gotta come to the Mortal Kombat and we gotta fight," or whatever. And he gets the fighters and then they go fight. It's a much more simpler storytelling, I would say. I think they're two different films in that regard, but I think it depends on your preference. I think one works well if you're a fan. Like, I think the first Mortal Kombat works more if you're a fan, because you sort of know who the characters are and you appreciate the beef that they're going to get. Whereas with this one, I think if you're a fan, or even if you're not a fan, it works for both audiences, personally. That's just my view.
I would say the 2021 movie focused more on the character side of things rather than the overall tournament itself.
Yeah, but the choreography and the fighting is 10 times better than the first film. Like, you can enjoy the fighting. Like, that's more realistic.
That's an opinion, though.
Come on, man. Like, everyone who watches this film knows that the choreography is so much better in terms of fighting in this film compared to the 1995 one. And in fact,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the action is bad. I'm just saying on a story standpoint, I just didn't get that.
Yeah,
because there are a few inconsistencies as well. Like for example, I'm gonna nitpick the hell out of this one. Raiden. Okay, so Raiden, Elder God, right? Yeah. Oh, we Elder Gods are not supposed to. We're not supposed to interfere on how the outer realm and the earth realm warriors deal with each other. Okay. Raiden, sir, I don't suppose you can send one person to one place and one person to another. Oh yeah, I can do that. So technically speaking, if you like if I'm Raiden and if you ask me, can I teleport Sub-Zero inside a volcano? I could have done that.
This is plot armor,
right?
Man. It's plot armor. We need some.
No,
we need,
because yeah,
happen,
it was a stupid loophole. Like, okay,
but this
so
is-
you're not allowed to interfere, but you can pretty much manipulate time and space on where to put the warriors inconveniently
Yeah,
based on
the only
where
the
and when you
limitation
want
is
them to.
you can move the warrior to where you want him to be, as long as it doesn't have a consequence directly as to what happens to him. Like you said, putting him in the middle of a volcano has a consequence. Putting him in front of somebody else who can kill him, that's not a consequence. They can still fight. That's what happened.
and
So
also
that's the
he
logic.
needs to
Oh,
stay
no.
alive,
Oh,
otherwise it wouldn't be a
oh,
film.
There's another thing. So, like for example, so if the outer realm warriors are already
Yeah.
playing dirt to begin with, then
Mhm.
what's the point? So why are the elder guards are so bending over backwards just to keep things fair?
Yeah, that's
If,
why a
if
lot of
if the
people
other
are
party is
they're
not really
that's
playing by the
Well,
rules,
exactly.
maybe we'll
That's
know the answer to your complaint in
no,
the sequel.
no.
Who
Honestly,
knows?
that tracks. That logic tracks. If somebody's not following the rules, why should the other side do it?
True.
Plain and
so what's the
simple.
point of the tournament itself?
Yeah, but the answer to that question is life isn't bloody fair. It doesn't work that
No,
way.
it's
The
not.
universe
And
is not
why?
designed that well.
If that's the case, then why play fair?
Then why
Right?
Yeah,
held a
true.
tournament every generation?
Exactly.
Well, the good guys play fair and the bad guys don't. That's the way the world is, right? And that's what this is about. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
sure. Yeah,
That's true,
that's the
but
thing.
what's the point of that? Then
Then there's no
the
point.
very
I'll
idea
tell you
of
what.
having a tournament is making sure that
It's
everything
fair.
is being fair.
Hmm
Well,
Okay.
the
Okay.
retro
Oh,
vibes have said.
okay. So
Well, hang about.
let's
Retro
go
vibes
low.
said.
Okay,
Sorry.
let's go lore in this. Okay. I'm not even the best Mortal Kombat fan here, but I'll go full lore in this one. The very first tournament, the Mortal Kombat tournament, was based upon an agreement between the Earth Realm representative and the Outer World representative. Okay, they both agreed. Okay, this is the terms of the tournament. Yada 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 yada. And then up until Shang Tsung came in and
Yeah.
did things underhandedly. Right then and there, bets are off.
Mm. Mm.
No. Rules are meant to be broken, my ass. So,
No,
so,
no, no,
so
no,
what's
no,
the-
no.
so what's the point of
In this,
that,
yeah,
that,
in
that,
this one,
that's a lazy excuse.
yeah, and this one retro vibes. We're gonna have to disagree on this one. We love trucking games together, but rules are there for a reason. And if they're broken, then you might not be happy with the consequences of the
Yeah.
rules being broken, because
The mere
the only
fact,
thing holding off chaos is the
right?
rules. Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
The mere fact that Sang Chung is ordering assassins to pretty much ambush all of the Earth Warriors
Mhm.
before the tournament,
Yeah.
sabotaging them. That's
Yeah.
basically that's a violation of the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that actually should.
And then he has the gall to say, "Oh, this is the best of what you got left."
Oh, and
Man,
actually,
fuck you.
that should have the penalty of your disqualification from
Yeah.
the entire tournament, and you're losing by rule breaking.
Yeah, but did
So-
anyone find out that he was doing this?
Mhm.
That's the question.
Well, I'm
Who snitched
presuming
on
that the
him?
elder gods know everything.
Maybe
Mhm.
the
Where-
elder
where
gods
did
aren't
most-
as omnipotent, omniscient, and benevolent as you may think they are. Maybe they're not the same.
Possibly.
Maybe they're not as
yeah.
powerful
There's
as we
also
think
that
they are. There we go.
possibly, yeah.
Okay,
but no,
so,
I
so
think-
basically, the only elder god that we have here who
Mhm.
takes the tournament seriously
Mhm.
is Raiden only.
Yeah, 'cause he's a good guy, man.
So,
He's a good
so,
guy.
so throughout the generations, the other elder gods stopped giving a fuck.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe.
Cthulhu might, but not.
Maybe Cthulhu's sleeping. Maybe
Yeah,
they're not even
there
watching
you go.
what's going on. You know,
There you
maybe
go.
people aren't even praying to the elder gods anymore, and maybe they're not annoying. I don't know how it works. It's just the
Mhm.
way it is.
But, well,
you know,
all right.
But then, hang about. The Retro Vibe said, "Look, sorry, the movie producers didn't have time for a tournament. Maybe they just wanted to focus more on the story rather than that. Maybe they thought they'd actually rather have a narrative that made, that you could follow."
And I have something to say about that. Honestly, if you're going to have a narrative, have strong emotional touch points on that. Sure,
True.
we've got the father taking care of his family,
Mm.
but the intro movie of, I completely forgot, the ancestor of the Scorpion
Scorpion.
guy.
Yeah.
Sure, you might have the emotional touch point there, but
Yeah.
there's no emotional background on
Yeah.
Sub-Zero's emotional
Yeah.
touch point. Why is he doing all this? There's nothing
Yeah.
there.
What's his beef? Yeah.
There's
And
nothing there.
Yeah, and there's also the emotional touch point of why, sure, Sonya Blade might have given the inspirational speech to Jax,
Yeah.
but it's all very
Well, this is.
superficial.
I think that's where the
Oh my
films
God.
Yeah.
because
Oh my God.
you've
On
got
the
to
blade.
try and
Okay.
put too
All
much
right.
in a film because you got the tournament aspect and the fighting aspect, and then you got the storytelling. And when you try to put, and you got all these characters, there's a lot of characters in this film. They're all going to have to need a
Dude,
backstory. Who are we going to
If
focus on?
you're going to, the plain and simple fact is, you can put strong emotional touch points in an action or war film. We're talking like if we
Yeah.
look at Red Cliffs by John Woo, John Woo's Red Cliffs. You might have the spectacle of gigantic fighting scenes and everything like that, and even one-on-ones, but the emotional touch points are very much there.
Yeah.
This one, it was an absolute middling. There was
Middling,
no
yeah.
resonance. What's the right word for it? There's no resonance in terms of emotion as to you
Yeah, I
can
think
connect with people's motivations
I
if
think
there's
there wasn't
resonance.
enough.
Yeah.
But I agree with you because I think some characters got more preference over another, and then you're thinking, well, what's this guy's deal? But that question wasn't answered. So I think it told a story, but half of it was kind of missing, or parts of it were
Kano had
missing.
more resonance than anybody else in that because of the fact
True.
that you could understand his motivations.
Yes.
And you could see
He's
his
chaotic.
emotions.
He's chaotic evil. At
Yeah, but he was
best.
Kano was a dick in this film.
Exactly. But it still
yeah.
resonated. You
Yeah.
knew he was
You
one.
knew why he was like
And
that.
you could feel why. And
Yeah.
you could see his motivation. So honestly,
And he's Australian in this, okay?
there's
Not
all
Russian.
that.
Yeah, I think we need some more Australian villains personally in
Mhm.
cinema. I think
But
us
yes.
Brits get it in the neck all the time. We're always the bad guys. I'm glad to see like one of your
Emotional
people get-
resonance. I guess that was what was missing on my
I
personal
agree.
point.
I
If you
agree
were
with
going
you
to
on that
do
one. I think
one that appeals to general audience,
Mm.
have the emotional resonance. That's it. Mhm.
If all right, so if the opening sequence opened up with why the tournament was held in the first place,
Mm.
and you see the denizens of the outer world as a threat against
Mm.
Earth, okay? Because here you don't really feel the threat of it because they're just fighting in random places. Like you don't feel you don't feel the weight of the world hanging on the balance with the said fights. If that makes sense compared to the other one, compared to the first one.
Fair enough. There's
I don't know.
much more of a wider
Like,
scope.
like I said, what I
Stakes are
mentioned
high,
in the
like,
group chat.
You can see
Christopher Lambert told it better.
Okay, so you can see the consequences in the first one was what would happen if we lose. You sort of get that already. I
Yeah.
get that. That being said, I felt that the actors weren't as good in the first one as this one. I think that you got better acting talent in this film for sure. And it made it much more immersive to just watch them act out their little scenes. Whereas in the first film, you're like, okay, whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like, I thought some of it was so hammy, I just had to laugh at it. I think that's the thing. I watched the first film just to laugh at the bad acting. Like Christopher Lambert, like he just makes me laugh in that film with his farty voice, And
It's just that
his goofy
they
laugh.
gave the okay, so they gave the exposition of explaining what Mortal Kombat is through Sonya Blade and Jax.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that the two straight people who would usually think this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. If the narrative was like if the overall plot was explained to us in the beginning through Raiden or Liu Kang, no, the introduction was made by Sonya and Jax. I'm like special forces. Okay, I'm like you guys are special forces. Then why are you spending way too much time and asset in this particular in this supernatural, overly outerworldly tournament that nobody else knows about? I don't know.
It's a weird one, but then I think we're asking too many questions on a film that's not meant to be that complicated anyway. That's basically.
No. It's a narrative. It's a narrative choice made by the storytellers.
Yeah,
But-
you
but-
yourself, Raj, said you
think
go
about
for the
it.
story, and you're forgiving it for the lack of story. Come
I
on,
think-
be consistent.
I think there is a bit of hypocrisy there. I admit that
Mm.
in regards to me saying, on one hand, I think what makes a film good is the story narrative, and I think that's what they've gone with more on this film. But there is the sad fact reality of the situation is because of the type of film it is, which is meant to have action in it. You're going to have that missing. But I would say this isn't the first film that suffers from this symptom. you're just going to be missing certain things. Like you made a point how there's certain emotional beats missing in this film. But I can sort of forgive it because I personally don't think they can have everything. I don't think it's possible for this kind of film to be any better than it is, personally.
And you know what? Cole
That's the sad
sucks.
truth.
Cole sucks. You know
Sorry,
why?
what?
He didn't earn
the
it.
the main guy.
Oh,
yeah.
He didn't earn his powers. I mean,
No. He's a nepo baby.
I mean,
wow.
he has literal plot armor
Mhm.
from
There you go.
Wakanda. Okay, he has
There
his
is.
own vibranium suit that will
Yeah.
absorb kinetic energy. The more times you hit him, the stronger his attacks will be.
Mhm.
Bullshit.
Well, so we got a story that isn't fully complete with this film. I think we can say that, or a story that hasn't been fully told. It hasn't been told as well as it could have done, but I still think it has a bit more substance than the first film did. Because the first film, it set out an overview of what the whole tournament is. It explains it so you understand what it is, but I didn't think the first film really showed that the characters had much depth. I think the reason you think the characters had depth is because you were familiar with those characters because you played the video game, you knew about them.
All right, another one.
Again,
I'll give you
the
another
first
one. I'll give you
movie was
another one.
made for
Sir
video
Joel and even Sir
gamers.
JJ might agree on this.
Look, your own little
hell?
fan is backing me
Oh.
now.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know where we're going, but go on then.
Out
There you
of
go.
all of the fights that we had so far with Cole,
Yeah.
tell me how can you defend how can you defend the idea that he can beat Goro one-on-one?
Because that's just the way the
Out of all
story
of the fights that
is.
we saw with Cole with,
Any given day,
he was able to beat Goro
any given day he could lose, but in this particular day he won, isn't it? You know,
because
It's
of plot armor.
say if me and you had a fight, yeah, you think you could beat me? You know, like any given day, yeah, I'll beat you, but there might be one day where I'm not like, you might get lucky. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. It's that kind of thing. You don't know who's gonna win in that fight. You know what I mean? Just because Goro's got 6 hands or whatever
Smart
it is,
money
yeah?
said Goro should have
And
won
he's
that.
big.
Should have won the fight.
Trust me, like the underdogs can win in these days. You know what I mean? Like there's some underdogs that are winning these days. I'll say that much. Like, look,
Not
that
without a
happens in
ball
life.
punch. Come on.
It happens, It happens, Sometimes it can happen. Not that I'd ever want to fight you. I love you too much. I'll never hurt you.
Now,
All right,
honestly,
all right. I'll go third JDM go.
I think they did a matchup with Goro and Cole because out of all the Earthrealm fighters, he was it took some time before he was able to find his Arcana, right? I think
okay.
to get more experience, you need to fight Goro.
You need the experience points to level up. Oh my goodness.
So he
Okay.
was lacking experience points.
I mean, we can't talk about this
More
film without thinking
experience.
about the first film.
Mm.
That's the problem here. We talk about the first film, but like, come on, man, that's ridiculous. Like Johnny Cage punching him in the nuts, man. What is that? Is that even like what sort of a movie
It's
is that?
an
That's a
official
silliness, isn't it? Like,
move. It's
that
an
doesn't
official
happen in the
move.
video game. That's not a
It's an official
fatality.
move,
Yes,
though.
it
What
does.
is this?
Yes, it does. Have you played Mortal Kombat?
You know what?
I know there's like a move you can do.
Yeah.
It was bad for Goro, not only because he has 4 arms, he had 4 balls.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And
That's
Liu Kang
it.
was able to
How do you
punch
know he's
four
got 4 balls? You get on your
four
knees and have a-
balls, okay?
Well, how do
That's
you
why
know
he
Goro
went
has
down
4
so
balls?
bad.
Did
No,
you
no,
go
no,
and
no,
look
no.
down and have a
Numerically
look?
Just
speaking-
No,
4
you don't know that.
testicles.
Numerically speaking, you've got 2 hands and 1 dick. So Goro has 2 dicks because he's got 4 hands. There you go.
4
Anyway.
dicks, maybe. We didn't know. We didn't know.
Mm, there you go. Mm-mm.
Oh,
How would you know
another
about this
nitpick
stuff?
here.
Have you
Oh,
not
okay.
heard this?
Another nitpick.
How would
Another
you know
nitpick.
this? Where does
Another
your mind
nitpick.
go? How would you know this?
Anyway,
You know, the timeline is, look, Goro,
Okay, another
the
nitpick.
timeline is like,
Another
the
nitpick.
story is told better
I
in
love
new
the
form.
okay.
Come on.
I
Like,
love the
first film-
fact that I love the
Campy
fact
as hell.
that I love the fact that Sub-Zero is trilingual, Chinese, Japanese,
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay.
English.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, Scorpion, Japanese all throughout, right? And then he only says that one line, one English line. Get over here.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all.
that's it.
Magically,
Some
that's all,
Japanese,
that's
I
all,
understand
that's
English.
all,
Phrase. I
the only
understand
English
these
that he
phrases.
knows.
It's not meant to make that much sense, man. Come on, man. I think you're looking too deep into
No.
it. Maybe he knows what that word means.
No.
Maybe he knows that phrase.
Somebody get this guy.
If you're going to present something, you're gonna have to present it with some internal logic. The logic has to be there, or else it just falls into ridicule. And honestly, the logic is not sound.
Yeah, but
from
it's a
the way,
like,
yeah.
every versus video game, like every versus fighter that's been made into a video game movie, you could argue this with all of them that the logic is not sound. You could dig holes in the Street Fighter movie easily. Yeah, it's
Yes,
full of loads
absolutely,
of issues.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's with all of them. So we can pick holes at both
Well,
the films.
let's put it this
How can
way.
you not accept that
There
this is
has to
clearly
be a
a
certain
better Mortal
internal
Kombat film out
logic.
there? The fact that you want to say that 95 one is better because
Well,
of the
yeah,
story.
this is a nitpick, but the fact is there has to be certain internal logic, and for the most part, it does adhere to the internal logic of the movie. Adheres to an internal logic.
Yeah.
Joe is nitpicking on that one, but the fact is there are also certain parts
I'm
of the movie
shocked he
that
doesn't.
do
Yeah, I'm
not.
shocked he's nitpicking, man. I showed you a film with good looking. I showed you a film with good looking
No,
actors,
no, no, no.
not just
The
female
biggest,
but males. But you're
no,
complaining about the
no.
film. I
The
thought you'd be
biggest
like, "Oh,
internal
this Sonya
logic,
Blade is a
yeah,
good looking
the
woman."
biggest,
Thanks for
yeah, the
showing me this
biggest
film.
failure internal logic. Joe already brought it up. There was no tournament, and the
Yeah.
fact that they broke the tournament rules and that there's no consequence to it, that broke the internal logic of it. That actually is a
Mm.
big one. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, there's going to be a sequel to this film anyway. I'm looking forward to it because maybe there will be a tournament in that. They bring in Johnny Cage. He's coming out. He's Carl Urban. All right, he's a key. Well, Scorpion's a bit shy speaking English. That's why he does not speak English much. Only bit. Maybe he was a shy man. That's perhaps it. I find that a lot of people who are non-native English speakers are a bit shy speaking English. You know,
Another thing.
So maybe,
Another thing, they keep throwing out the Scorpion and Sub-Zero keep throwing out for the Lin Kuei or whatever like that. You know,
yeah.
like as a regular guy off the street.
I don't know
means
about
nothing
that.
to me. Who the hell?
What is
It's the
that?
clan name, innit? It's the clan
Yeah,
name.
exactly. But yeah, as a guy who, if you're supposed to be trying to bring in the new people, that doesn't
Yeah, I think
emotionally resonate with me. So
You
I think-
don't understand their motivation why they want to kill each other.
exactly, there's that. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
So
well,
as that part leaves me cold. Sub-Zero,
yeah, okay.
yeah. But the fact is, the again, it falls back to emotional resonance. You can throw out names and everything like that, Lin
Hey.
Kuei, but there's nothing there that says why Lin Kuei. Why are you guys beating the shit out of each other? Why are you guys, there's no emotional investment for the regular guy off the street, and that
Okay.
kind of makes it fall flat. Yeah.
Well,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Fair enough.
And you know what? Ever notice why Shang-Chi only took Sub-Zero and Goro with him? Everybody else, yeah, fuck him. Most likely, what they're gonna come back in the sequel.
Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah. Although the question is, I know some people are coming back in the sequel. I'm sorry, spoilers here, but I had to look at the at the cast list and Mortal Kombat 2, and Kano is coming back. So
Yeah,
it's a
he's got to come
question
back.
of
He's got to come
Yeah.
back. He's a menace. He needs to come
Yeah.
back.
So it's
I
a
wanna see
question
that.
of, does it mean that that Shang Tsung has control of souls and can bring people back, or is it going to be a multiverse kind of thing where a person dies in this round, he can an alternate him can be brought
I
into the
believe
next one?
I believe Quan Chi.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not as deep into the
Quan
lore.
Chi is like he comes later after Shang Tsung as a villain afterwards. But we'll see when that happens.
Because Shang Tsung's motivation is he wants immortality, and the way he can get that is by taking in souls of dead warriors. So, but I'm not sure about resurrecting them by retrieving their souls. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this. Maybe Kwang Chi, but I'm not sure if they're gonna incorporate that on the sequel. But who knows? What kind
Explain
of
for somebody like me, Joe,
mumbo jumbo what they'll do.
who is not as deep into the lore. Who is Quan Chi and why can he do that?
Oh, just based on what I know from Mortal Kombat 4, he's as much as a sorcerer like Shang Tsung.
Okay, so he has the power to resurrect and bring people back. Is that it in the
To
game?
my knowledge, yes. Unless I'm wrong about that.
He's
Yeah.
basically the secondary antagonist. Basically, when Mortal Kombat 4 happened. That's basically it. But he does have like powers to resurrect and all sorts of spooky things which are deemed as unnatural. But basically, he was basically like a second in command or a slave to Shao Kahn, basically, and Shinnok, shall we say? So It
Oh
was.
yeah,
It was.
we didn't.
He's a great character.
There's no hints of Shao Kahn here.
No, there is.
Like,
There was.
like
In
Thanos
the
of the Mortal
painting, right?
Kombat
There was
franchise.
a painting of him in the when they first entered the
Yeah,
temple, right?
there
Yeah,
was.
there was that.
I
Yeah.
mean, Shao Kahn
But
is
they
the
didn't
ultimate
mention
bad
it.
guy.
Yeah,
That's the truth.
So
But we'll
it,
see.
it's like just there as a passing, but they didn't really put a reference on that. No.
I think that
That's
it builds up to this. I think Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel. I mean, this film, you can say this, and that, but I think this builds a good foundation for what could be a very, very good sequel. And I'm excited for it personally because, Mortal Kombat as a game series, even the first game was quite anemic compared to the sequels that came out, and the sequels were a lot better. And I think the movies will also get better because the story, and the stakes and the character development which were added to the Mortal Kombat roster got better. And I think we can all agree the characters got better as time went on. The first game was quite anemic, just like the first film might have been anemic in terms of characters. And I think they may fill in the blanks, so you may get the answers to the problems you had with the first film with the second film. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but it's something. I think a film should be able to stand on its own 2 feet without sort of depending on a sequel to sort of fill in the blanks personally. But
And take note, Marvel. Remember, listen to what Viraj is saying. For me to enjoy a movie, I don't have to have watched the Disney
sequel,
TV, the Disney TV series or something like that for me to be able to understand the lead up. Please listen to what Viraj is saying.
It has to be
Right.
it has to stand on its own 2 feet, and it shouldn't rely on you shouldn't rely on the fact that
Another nitpick.
original. And look at Terminator 2, it
Another
stands on its own 2 feet. You can watch Terminator 2 without seeing Terminator 1. Aliens, you can watch Aliens without seeing Alien. So
That's true.
if you're going to make a sequel, it has to be sort of a film told on its own footing. And I think we've lost that completely in Hollywood for the most part. I think films are dependent on, sequels are dependent on you having seen the original, and that's why they don't gross as much. If you look at sequels, the grosses go down because people are like, "Oh, I have to watch the original." And not a lot of people have watched the original, so they're not going to see the sequel. It's one of those things, and a sequel just has to be good on its own. And I think a lot of films suffer from that. They do suffer from that. So I think it can't always be done. To be fair, the narrative does depend on you having to see the original, and you can't sort of fill in the blanks of the sequel, and that's always the problem.
Joe has a nitpick. Let's hear what he has to say.
Anyway.
So Jax mentions, let me fight Reiko. I have a score to settle with him. And I'm like, bitch, Reiko was not the one who shattered your arms. If anything, you should be fighting Sub-Zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever Reiko did to you.
Look, it's you could really look into this to the degree, but look, fundamentally, we all agree this is a good film that we can all enjoy.
It's a good film. It's a good film. Honestly, like I said, I would give it a 7.5 out of 8, or a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 because of the fact that you can watch it, enjoy it for what it is, and as a video game player, it's got enough of the video game for me to enjoy. It lacks the emotional resonance for a casual watcher. It might be confusing to people who are just first coming into the whole thing, but honestly, as something that is playing on Netflix in the background while I'm doing the dishes or whatever around the house, it's a good film.
I'm actually shocked that Sir Joe said the thing he said. Look, at least you can agree that the actresses are better looking, in this one. And
all right. About the Sonya Blade character here, the actress.
Yeah.
The Sonya Blade actress here is much more believable compared to the first one.
I agree. She's more true to the character, I think.
Because the first one, I was a horny kid back then. And
well, we're back then.
Right.
Back then. Bloody
Back
hell.
then.
Look at you now, man.
Now you're a horny
then.
adult. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
where I started.
now I'm a horny adult.
Yeah, there you go.
No. Okay. Because
Why are you being defensive for? Why are you going
Sir
into
Jem,
it?
could you look at the IMDb? Who's the actress playing as Sonya Blade back in 1995? Because that actress over there, she's just so she's too pretty
She's hot.
and
Anyway.
she's hot, but nothing about her that screams she's a
fighter.
like she's a fighter or at least a military service person.
Mhm.
There's not much muscle in her, muscle tone in her that would buy the idea that she can handle a proper fight against someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, at
There
least
you
here she she's a little bit
I
more.
forgot her name.
she's
Bridget
fluffier,
Nielsen. I forgot.
she has moxie. Yeah, like you can actually believe because she's special forces. You can actually believe her taking any male jackass against her. She can hold her own, given enough prep time.
Sorry, Bridget Wilson. That's it.
Who's the actress, or JDM?
Yeah.
Bridget Wilson.
Bridget
Yeah.
Wilson.
Mhm.
Because I know Bridget Wilson from Billy Madison movies, from Adam Sandler's earlier movies. Because I watched that one, and then when I saw her here, I'm like, hey, ain't you the the fourth grade teacher from from Billy Madison? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had such a crush on her as well back back in back
We're
in
talking
the
about Bridget
Billy Madison
Wilson here.
movie. So watching her here,
Sampras,
it's just,
no, it's a tennis player, so she's done well. But I mean, look, she was good in. I remember when I first saw her, she was in this film called Last Action Hero.
Oh,
she
yeah.
had a role in that. So
so it's Jessica McNamee in this movie, 2021. There you go.
The 2021 film is a different actress, but I think she's
Jessica
very true. Look, listen, I
props
think
to her. Props to her.
I think they played not only were they
Sonya Blade, yeah.
We'll see anyway, because I think sometimes you can. I think with some of these actresses, they're very good looking, they're very beautiful, but can they act? That's the thing. But I think she played her role well for what it is. So I think she did a very good job. I think in terms of the talent, the acting talent in this film, it's a lot better than the first one, personally. But we'll see how it goes with the second film, and that's something I'm looking forward to. It's coming out soon. I think is it 2026 is coming out.
2026, yes, from the projections, yes.
Oh, another nitpick.
Oh,
I love the fact that they knew the Earth Realm Warriors already knew the names of the Outer Realm Warriors without even mentioning it on screen.
Oh, it was probably spoken about during training. They probably said,
or
you're gonna fight this.
They had the scroll.
Well, I mean, look,
Because it's a tournament, there's an invitation.
Or maybe they have the character select screen.
Well, it's the same director who did the film now, who's doing the sequel. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'm glad that you guys at least enjoyed the film. You have your nitpick.
Are we going to address the cheesy one-liners that they have to put in here?
Well, I mean, the fact is that they had to integrate the lines from the video game into the movie, or else again, Max Payne, or you might as well have just slapped on the name of the game onto whatever movie, and you would have come away severely disappointed. But yes, one-liners of the movie of the video game had to be in the movie. Yes, John.
Sergeant M, what can you say about Liu Kang spamming the side sweep, the leg sweep?
I think he has the I think he has the Cobra Kai. The sweep.
Oh, fine. It's
to the people who are playing Mortal Kombat, especially the first 1, 2, and 3 Mortal Kombat, you know how even if we don't know how to pull off their special moves, we just do the leg sweep, and we usually win like 8 out of 10 times.
I think as a game, I think we can all agree here that Street Fighter was a better engineered versus fighter game than Mortal Kombat. I mean, for years, back then, because being a Sega guy, I identify Mortal Kombat as more of a Sega game. I identify Street Fighter as more of a Super Nintendo game. And obviously my biases were more on the Mega Drive since I had it longer. And I got the SNES afterwards, and it's only then did I open my eyes, thought, wow, Street Fighter is a really good fighting game. And I thought Mortal Kombat was better because I was always under the guise of this is much more serious, it's much more gory, much more adult and grown up, whereas Street Fighter looked kiddie and colourful and cartoony. But when you actually play the game, you realise that there's a moveset with Street Fighter that is much more ergonomic and lends itself better in terms of how it's engineered versus Fighter. Whereas Mortal Kombat is something that Iron Sedan, who's with us on the podcast when he can join us, but he says, let's be blunt here. Mortal Kombat was gimmicky. It was more to do with the fact that it had that digitized art style. And if you look at the movesets on that, it's like pushing weird buttons and weird positions, which just isn't.
And they have to use
enjoying it. And people just get stressed pulling off those fatalities, like pushing this button, that button, and trying to get the fatality. And that was basically the I think that was the moment of self-actualization. It's not necessarily beating the guy, which did take certain skills. Sometimes there were some bosses in Mortal Kombat, like Motaro or Goro, which are very tough, and you'd have to think, how am I beating this guy? Because the computer would be designed to be, it was going for you and all that stuff. And you had to really work hard in Mortal Kombat in the games. I remember they were so hard to get through, and it was the fatalities. That's what people played through this for, because they wanted to see all the different fatalities and stuff, and that was the gimmick the game had. But I just thought, oh man, I can't be bothered with all this. I'm surprised people were bothered with it, but I couldn't be bothered with it. And I felt that as a versus fighter, that's the core of the game. That's the game. And when you have to sort of know the movesets, and there's a lot more to learn with Mortal Kombat. I'd say it's much more complex, but I would also say it's much more difficult because you have to remember a lot more. Whereas Street Fighter, you know the sort of moves with quarter circle B or quarter circle A, and then LNR if you've got the SNES controller. You sort of know where you can go with it, and different characters do different things. But I think Mortal Kombat as a video game series has and is even now a lot more complex than Street Fighter is, personally, in terms of the way you pull off moves. I think Street Fighter is definitely much more accessible to people as a versus fighter than Mortal Kombat. Now, I would say, I'm talking about the retro era. I'd say Mortal Kombat then, I'd say, was much more gimmicky to Street Fighter. I think now Mortal Kombat is much more of a professional versus fighter and much more engineered than it was then. If we're talking about the game franchise now, we're comparing Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 6 now with Mortal Kombat 1 or whatever. That's a very difficult comparison, but you can do it. I think Mortal Kombat is just much more fun in terms of, like, they've got like weird characters in there now. Like, I see Omni-Man in there or whatever, and all these other characters are thrown in just to make it much more fun. I think they both offer something unique in terms of the versus fighting world, and I think people will just get both these days.
Oh no, I love the fact that RoboCop, John Rambo, and the Terminator are in there now.
Terminator in there now. You got all these characters. Superman,
absolutely.
DC characters in Mortal Kombat. But then you had like Marvel characters with Street Fighter. So it's really interesting the sort of allegiances they've got. And I think,
which actually makes me ask the question: is that the way that they're going to go? Multiple universe versions of people. That's why you can die and then come back.
I think it makes sense because it's if we're talking about a business and making money. And you see it with Fortnite when they have movie tie-ins and people play Fortnite to have the skins of the characters. Same sort of thing with like DC and Marvel. Like if there's a new Superman, or which there is, or a new Supergirl, they'll probably throw that in as a character to play in their game as DLC or something. And that's how they'll make the money. And similar with Street Fighter, I think it all has to do with money and relative franchises and popular culture. And movies drive that to some extent. And I think they'll do well with that. In terms of the Mortal Kombat movie, again, the new one coming out, obviously, I can imagine Midway releasing a game or promoting a game to cross-market it, and cross-marketing always works. Like this new Mortal Kombat Retro Collection is going to come out, and then what if someone who's got that, or somebody who didn't grow up with the Mortal Kombats might want it or whatever, then they'll see Mortal Kombat 2 being advertised in cinemas. They'll think, oh, I want to watch this film because I'm enjoying this game. What's the movie like? And vice versa. I think people will win, and cross-marketing really does work, And like for example, Sonic the Hedgehog. That last movie that came out last year, when I go to the markets to sell, as you know I do, I sold like 10 Sonic games in one day. All because of that movie. Usually I sell 3 or 4, but 10, and I'm selling a lot more Sonic because of that movie. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has put Sonic back on the map. Yeah, whether you like it or not, whether it's a good movie or not, kids will love it. Kids will love it, and it brings life back to the franchise. Same with the Mortal Kombat movies. It's brought life. This new Mortal Kombat 2, I can see it bringing life back into the franchise, which is why someone like me might start buying up some Mortal Kombat stock just because it will work. So that's really interesting. I just want to throw that out there.
And Joe did mention that there was a reboot, or was it JDM who said that there was a reboot of the games? So it's kind of like a new timeline thing. So you can hop into the new games without being too familiar with what happened in the old games. So that's certainly also a possible launching point.
I think, I think people do get really sort of. I think Mortal Kombat is. I think after 11, they've obviously reset it now, and I think that's good because it allows new players to sort of get into a franchise and start from scratch, shall we say, rather than following a story or feeling I need to play all these other Mortal Kombat games before I play this one. Do you guys ever get that feeling when you see like Final Fantasy 7? Oh, I need to play all the other
Tales of games, right?
or whatever, or whatever. So you kind of feel like sometimes you feel, am I missing something here? And obviously, as we all know, Final Fantasy isn't chronological. It's its own story in its own game. Just because it's not 7th in the story. It's just the 7th game, which is a beautiful thing, actually. But, I kind of have that feeling. And I'm like that. I'm a bit of a purist in the sense that I have to sort of play these other games before I'm worthy to play the 11th or the whatever. Because I don't know. I can't play like the new Sonic games without playing the old. Like I'm like that. I'm weird. But I think when you start from fresh again by saying, okay, we're starting the story again, you can sort of say, well, I can get into this game or I can get into this movie without having to see the first two or without
Kind of
this. So I
like
think
kind of
that's
like how Doctor Who is. I heard Doctor Who is
yes.
like
Yes. So there's the classic TV series, and then Christopher Eccleston started this new series, and that's still there. But goodness me, there's a lot of episodes to get through. Even then, but I don't even like Doctor Who. It's a thing my father loves, but I can't get into Doctor Who. That's
anybody outside Britain, there's a few people who
there's a following in
not
America.
so
Some
much
Americans
here.
love it.
Yeah, there's some, but in general,
it's
it
too
hasn't
abstract
really
for me. It's too abstract
permeated
for me to
the consciousness. Anyway, I think this is a good place to wrap it up, Joe.
Yep. I think we've done it. So generally, I would start to summarize. I think it's a very good film. You should watch it for what it is. Yes, it's got its problems, but you kind of would expect that with most video games films. I'm surprised Sir Joe has beef with this film to the extent he does have. I thought he'd appreciate this film because there's some good-looking women in there. I thought he'd appreciate it, but he's being a bitch today. I don't know what's gone wrong. Yeah, I don't know what his beef is. Yeah, but anyway. But no, that aside, Sir Joel is actually a man of culture, but he's also a man that wants a bit of substance as well. So I get that. And he's quite right in saying, objectively, this is the problems with the film, and this is what I have issues with. And I can totally understand his issues. I can understand Sir Joel's issues with the film and why he prefers certain aspects of the first film. So I totally get that as well, even though I don't agree, because I have a different preference. I think that's what it is in terms of I prefer more of a storytelling, even though I can even concede and admit that this film is lacking certain emotional beats and certain aspects that the story should have, but they might be filled in later on in the sequel. Who knows? Maybe they won't, but I'll enjoy the film for what it is. I don't expect much from it. It was a B movie, for crying out loud. They only had so much of a budget. And I think they did well with what they had. And I think for a B movie, unlike the Sonics and the Mario, there's a new Mario film coming out. We all know about the direct, but anyway, so we could talk, about all that. I don't have to go on that. But anyway, I think this is a film you should see anyway. I think you should just enjoy it. Whether you like Mortal Kombat, whether you've never seen Mortal Kombat, just watch it. Just give it a go. It's not going to hurt your feelings. It might do, but you can't go wrong. It's a bit of fun, and that's the mindset you should have coming into this film. So that's my final thoughts on the film.
All right. Final thoughts, Sir Joel, Mortal Kombat 2021.
All right. Again, it's a good film. I would say it's a good soft reboot, reset, or whatever of the movie franchise. And it lacks emotional resonance for me at certain points. But yes, I would play it in the background while doing the dishes. And I would, yeah. And I respect to Sensei Wolf. He's a good actor.
Final thoughts about Mortal Kombat 2021, Sir JDM.
Am I going to do my fatalities? Watch the movie. It deserves time. It's like what? Less than 2 hours, so 1 hour and 40 minutes. If you love,
it felt longer than that though. It felt long.
If you want to watch some fighting, a lot of fighting, and if you're a fan, or even if you're not a fan, you might want to watch this movie to learn more. Let's see. It's a good thing that there's going to be a sequel, so maybe our questions or just questions will be answered in the sequel. So
and a little something. I'm very happy that they still included the Mortal Kombat theme song. I would have been very disappointed.
Kind of.
I'm still happy about that one.
Yeah, there's a remix, like a variation of the
remix.
I don't think you could top the theme tune. I think there's something very. It's not just so much that we talk about nostalgia of the time.
The hype of it, the hype of the song. It gets you all hyped up, ready for anything. I guess
it's
like a
the
rave.
90s.
It's like a rave song, really.
It's the 90s. Like
90s
techno.
beat, Eurobeat.
It's the 90s version of Eye of the Tiger, shall we say? Okay.
But Eye of the Tiger. Oh yeah, Eye of the Tiger is the 80s. Okay. Final thoughts about 2021. Mortal Kombat. So to me, it has the burden of making sure that it's recognizable enough for the gamers to understand that this is indeed Mortal Kombat movie, aside from the Mortal Kombat movie that came out from the 90s. It had to follow a certain checklist. Characters, the one-liners, the fatalities, the some of the backstories there, and some of the well-known interactions between said characters. Because without that, then like Sir Joel mentions, if you're not doing those kind of fan servicing, then who are you servicing in the first place? Okay, um, so because they had to follow that said checklist, it did kind of jot it down a notch for me
Mm.
because I knew all of the characters in a superficial level enough that I was expecting a little bit more lore, a little bit more coherent storytelling in there. Unfortunately, it was a little bit loose for my taste. That aside, it's still an enjoyable movie for what it is. Don't question it the way I did, guys. Okay, watch the movie, give it a shot. Okay, you might like certain parts of it better compared to the first Mortal Kombat back in the 90s. You might find it a little bit what's the best word to describe this, a little bit more uh, not really not really disappointing, but underwhelming, maybe not disappointing, but somewhat underwhelming in certain parts of the overall of the overall presentation of the movie. I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
Hmm.
Not a flawless victory, I should say. At
Well,
least for me.
well, the good news, gentlemen, like I just want to throw this out there before we wrap up. The production budget of the upcoming 2026 film Mortal Kombat 2 is 68 million. So that's more than the 55 that the first film got. So this budget is significantly higher than the first film's budget, allowing for more expansive scope and more detailed fighting sequences, according to producer Todd Garner. So let's see, there'll be a lot more fighting involved in this film, probably a lot more in
Is
that
Cole
aspect.
still going to be the main character? I don't know. I mean,
He's cast in
be
this film.
Cage.
But I think it's going to be Johnny Cage. I think he's going to be the
Johnny
lead in this film. He's
mm,
top billed, as is the guy who played Liu Kang. Sonya Blade is back. Okay, we got Bihan in there. We got Scorpion. We got Kitana. Kitana's in this film, so we've got a beautiful actress playing a Kitana. We got Jade coming in here. We got Kano. He's back. We got Shao Kahn is in there. Raiden is back. Quan Chi's in this film, so you got your wish. Jax is going to be in this film.
you know, if they're going to make
Cole's in this film, but he's not billed as like a main cat, like the top sort of thing. Shang Tsung's in this film. Sindel, Kung Lao, and King Gurud.
the main
So-
reason
Kung
I'm
Lao is
hoping
coming.
that they do a multiverse kind of thing because of the fact that do want the original cast to make cameos somehow. You know,
Yeah.
just show up. Robin shows up and says,
Robin Shaw and Christopher Lambert, at least.
yes, at least, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they've got the
Not James Rebar.
They got the pictures on the IMDb page of the characters and who they, what they look like and stuff. So it's definitely worth checking out. They've got some
Yeah.
stills. So
Anyway.
for those of you interested, have a look. But really, I mean, the reason I wanted to do this episode to these listening is because I think the next film, it looks promising. I'm actually got high hopes for the sequel, and I think it's worth talking about the original. That I think a lot of people miss out because of the pandemic, and a lot of people talk about this film. But it's one of those films that it had no business being as good as it was, as far as I'm concerned. Like, right, it's actually a good film. So, in my opinion, go see it.
Imagine
Out of all-
Christopher Lambert comes back, but he's the Highlander.
He's Highlander.
He's still
You know what?
producing
You know what?
electricity, right?
Highlander
I would,
Kombat
yeah,
game.
I would watch it just for that.
Oh god.
Okay, I'll stop bitching. All right, Absolute cinema. If
I
they
mean,
did,
I'm
I mean,
surprised that you're
Henry
getting
Cavill
excited
is-
over a man instead of a woman. Like, what's
Henry
happened to
Cavill
you,
is the
man?
new Connor McLeod anyway, so you never know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. All right, wrap it up, Joe.
Oh my God! Out of all of the people who died back then, Scorpion is the only one who got burned and sent to hell. Out of all of the corpses, he's the only one who got burned to death
I
and
think
went straight to hell. Out of all of
I
the
think that's
corpses
the
there.
reason why he got
Anyway,
English
still
phrases
nitpicking.
again.
All right.
Because there's a
Go,
lot
sir,
of
JDM.
podcasts who are
Oh, yeah.
right.
Little thing before we wrap up. Scorpion meets his great granddaughter. Doesn't even acknowledge it. Like, come
No,
on. You have one
Yeah,
moment there.
yeah.
You
The
say,
point. Yeah, I agree. That was a bit
yeah,
weird.
you
That was
know,
weird. I
you'd
agree.
say, continue my bloodline, but you don't. You
that's
see
it.
your great granddaughter there. You don't
No,
even say hi.
I
You're
think he's
saying,
just gone
you know,
he's probably got dementia in his old age.
yeah,
That might be
uh,
it.
like
I think he
one.
got a bit dramatic because when he saw the ice they were like
you
frozen,
know
right?
what? You know
Yeah,
what? This is 17th century
yeah.
purebred Japanese person. Oh,
mhm.
you married a white person. You bring dishonor to the family.
Fine. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
let's do some commercials before we do our
Oh yeah,
shameless
yeah.
plugs. Let's hear from Streamyard and BitMap. Don't go away, guys.
Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard.
All right, thank you for that, Streamyard and BitMap Books. We will go for our shameless plugs. All right, Sir JDM, which realm can they touch your grass?
Down south. And you can
Dang, JDM is
follow
full of
me
it today.
loaded. So you can follow me 123 Go Retro on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I haven't been streaming lately, and I may come back next year because I'm trying to I'm busy this year or the rest of the 2025. So please do check out 123 Go on those platforms and here on the Timeless Gamer Show.
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM and Sir Joel. Which realm can they touch your grass?
All right. You can always find me here on the Timeless Gamer Show. I show up as often as I can, as long as life doesn't get in the way. I also do a little bit of streaming. Recently, I started off on a game of Lego 2K Drive on Twitch. I'm just going to run through it. I'm going to do a lot of driving with my transforming little Lego thing from off-road cycle to a car into a boat. It's a lot of fun, and I've also been playing a little bit of Medieval Dynasty. Retro games, I played recently through a run through of Gale Racer, which used to be called Rad Racer on the arcades. Tons of fun. Finished it up on stream. You can find it on Twitch, on kick.com, on rumble.com. Look for Banyagi Native. I'm going to be there. And on the brand new streaming platform, streamer.live. STREAMR.live. It's brand new. It's nice and minimalistic. It's very easy to use. If you want to start your streaming journey, check out streamer.live. And who knows, you might be the next Dr. Disrespect or whatever the heck these big names are in all these different platforms. If you do it well, you might be the next big character in streaming. You might be the next Pokemon. I don't know. But yeah, check it out. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. And speaking of people who thinks Asian people look alike, Sir Viraj.
Oh, in my way. That was you. You got the actors. You got two actors mixed up. You thought they looked alike. Anyway, all jokes aside, you can follow me and find me on X at Bygone Games UK. That's where all my pickups are because I'm a retro game reseller. I'll also be trading at the Nottingham Gaming Market on the 28th of September. However, you'll also find me loitering on the Sega Genesis group on Facebook, and also you'll find me whenever I can now. I'll try to make as many appearances as I can on the Timeless Gamer podcast, so that's where you can find me. But yeah, back to you, Sir
All
John.
right, thank you for that, Sir Viraj. And of course, just to whore out the show, again, our website, timelessgamers.com, where we usually keep all of our archives, as well our YouTube channel, timelessgamers.show, for all of your messages, suggestions, comments, complaints, anything like that. Send it to timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. That's timelessgamers.show@gmail.com. And of course, BitMap Books and Streamyard, and this new streaming platform, like Sir Joel mentioned before, streamer.com. STREAMR.com.
That
ST.
live.
Not live. There you go.
There you
Not
go.
live.
So-
Even I'm confused.
Yeah,
STR.
we're very
There
used
you
to
go.
.coms. Yeah, but yeah, .live for this one.
So Retro Vibes has said something. When is the next episode?
Next week.
When is the
Always
next
catch us
episode?
here. You can always catch us
next
here on
week.
Timeless Gamer Show every Saturday morning Eastern Standard Time, nighttime in Philippine time Saturday. But yeah, you can always catch us here on the Timeless Gamer Show, and you can check out our archives on our website as well.
Unless we
My
take a break.
suggestion: go to the Facebook page, Retro Vibes, and just give us a follow so you can
Yeah.
get the latest announcement on our next topics and episodes. Alrighty,
You can even suggest
that's it.
topics for us. Funny.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. JDM put it perfectly. You, as the audience, can suggest your own topics. We want to listen to what you say. We want to hear what you want us to talk about. Let
Yeah.
us know in the chats.
All right, thank you for that, guys. Sir Jomar, and of course Retro Vibes being in the show, and of course Marlon as well. Miss I is busy working at the moment at the ward. Ray Q, and that's it. Our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey, test your mic.
Timeless. All right. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Drink lots of water. Enjoy the rest. See you next week. Bye now.
Mortal Kombat!
Woo! Mortal Kombat!